Jesus. Allergies are kicking my ass.
All right, and we are live, and this is Kenoshi Abominito here with another episode of Project Console, episode 44. Hype is a dangerous disease. But before we get into our topics, I'd like my panelist to introduce himself.
It's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. Glad to be on another one of these podcasts.
Glad to have you. So, for our first topic, um, Zelda Direct Blowout. So, there have been rumors stating that there's a Nintendo Direct that's supposed to be happening in a couple weeks, at least the week of the 12th. Some speculate earlier than that, but apparently they're supposedly going to announce uh, ports of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, possibly as well as a few other games. There's also speculation that we might see Breath of the Wild 2 gameplay. What are your perspectives? What's your thoughts on this?
I think it's plausible.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I think Breath of the Wild, obviously Breath of the Wild isn't coming out this year, but Nintendo has to have some type of Zelda game coming out. So why not port those games to the system? Because, I mean, I don't think it would be that difficult for them to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's cheap. They don't have to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And sorry. Yeah. And the uh, you also have the fact that the those games did pretty well on the Wii U, so that's another Wii U port. I mean, obviously it's ported down from the Wii slash GameCube, those two games, but that's another game that'll sell pretty well. Skyward Sword, I think, did pretty well when they ported it over to the Switch. So
Yeah,
why not port the other
yeah.
games? Um,
People were willing to do it again.
yeah, yeah, and the same with the see the and they're hopefully they try this maybe with some other games, like some other GameCube games that people have been wanting, like F Zero GX. Maybe not a complete remaster, but like an upscale game with maybe higher resolution, uh, better stability, stuff like that.
I
Um,
agree.
Maybe add some tracks that might work that maybe were cut out of the original game. I don't know, something like that. At least get people to talk about the game.
I'm going to say something that's going to make people upset. I personally don't want. I personally don't want that.
Yeah, why not?
I would rather have a port of the arcade game of
Yeah.
F Zero,
Oh,
AX.
okay. Well, how does the arcade version compare to the GameCube version?
For one thing, it's higher definition. The GameCube version is 480p, 60 frames per second. The arcade game is 1080p. The arcade game has like 8-person multiplayer. You could simulate that with online. But the problem is that you'd actually have to fucking have decent online on the Switch, and uh,
Yeah, yeah,
that's kind of a hard ask. But
yeah. I can see that. I can see that.
yeah,
Um,
I'm
yeah,
just using like best case scenario. That's what I would want. Would it happen? Probably not, but that's what I would want.
they were able to use like dedicated servers or Sega. If they had a deal with Sega to maybe use their servers or something. Maybe you could probably see it. It would probably be all right, but Nintendo stuff, the peer to peer stuff, because I think that's
It's
mainly what they
trash.
use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would
because
run. The most plausible thing would be the home console port of the GameCube game. But like the arcade version is like a superior version of the home console version. Higher resolution, you know, higher field of view. It's just better. So, if I had my druthers, exactly what I wanted, that's what I would want. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But if, we're using hypotheticals here. So hypothetically, that's what I would want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me F-Zero AX, which is the arcade version of GX.
Yeah.
It's like the arcade. It's like if I had to choose between, like Mario Kart 8, in my opinion, kind of sucks. Okay, but give me the arcade version of Mario Kart Double Dash. I think that was the one that had an arcade version, or was it 8? The arcade version of 8 is more fun than the home console version of 8 because you've got new characters. Like they have Pac-Man in there because Namco made it.
I don't think that
Which
was
is
8.
cool.
I think that might have been Double Dash. Or it might have
No,
been
that was 8.
Oh, they haven't.
That was 8. Yeah, they made an arcade version of 8, but Namco Bandai did it because the special character for 8 was Pac-Man.
Okay.
I'm just saying I don't want to do the same shit. Because that port of Twilight Princess on the Wii U was some bullshit.
Yeah.
It was a port of the GameCube game, and this is my own personal opinion. I prefer the Wii version of.
You wanted the motion controls.
I wanted the choice of motion control.
One of the choice.
I didn't want it forced, but I mean, if you have all these control options, and you're going to force people to use one or the other.
And they lock a certain feature behind amiibos, certain gameplay aspects behind an amiibo, which, at the time those were, and I think to a certain degree still are pretty annoying to get a hold of. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can take or leave the amiibo functionality because I don't play Breath. For me, Twilight Princess is my favorite Legend of Zelda game, and what I enjoy about Twilight Princess is. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real. I think Twilight Princess had one of the best companion characters we've had in a Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah.
I think that Midna trumps Navi, Princess Zelda. Like, any side character you've had in a Legend of Zelda game, Midna's better than those side characters.
Yeah.
Because she actually had fucking character. And she wasn't just there to be annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm already like, okay. But then you're gonna I'm not gonna get into. All I'm saying is this: I wish the game. If you're gonna port Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and Skyward Sword, then the least you could do is give people the option. Give people controller options. I want to have motion control. All right.
Yeah. 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 Hopefully, hopefully when it comes out that they'll actually have that option to play the flipped version of Twilight Princess if that game gets announced. But the thing is, we've been teased about this whole these games getting ported to the Switch for a while. And,
First it was the Wii U. Remember, we're gonna port these games. We got Wind Waker. We got Twilight Princess, but the Wind Waker port was fairly decent, but they still didn't fix that shitty ass mid game slog.
Yeah.
And we got what was the other one? We got Twilight Princess, but they ported the GameCube version of Twilight Princess, which the GameCube version just isn't as fun to play. I know some people are gonna be like, it really isn't.
Yeah, yeah, but
The motion controls really do help with that game, especially certain aspects. Like using the bow and arrow is more fun with the motion controls.
And, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. But I even saw, like, I think it was even a couple of years ago, where people were like, oh, they're gonna port the Zelda games to the Switch. It's gonna be a big Zelda blowout, and it's just like, I feel like we've been down this road before, and only to be disappointed, or only to find out that that's not what's going to happen. So
We'll
just
do it. I
keep.
think this time they're going to do it because they, like I said, Breath of the Wild isn't coming out to next year, but they need something to come out,
Yeah, they need
and they need something, some big game. Because Splatoon, even though Splatoon is successful, it's not like it's not Call of Duty or anything like that. They need something that's a surefire. People like. I don't think people are going to go out of their way to buy a Switch in order to play Splatoon 3.
yeah.
Right? Like they need something that people are going to buy a Switch for. Now, if someone, whoever that is, that's my own personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. So our next
I know
topic.
some people are going to be like,
Oh,
"Oh, how dare you?" It's like, look, man, they're a business. They're trying to make money. It doesn't make financial sense for them to go out of their way and do that.
yeah.
Like it makes sense for them because Metroid Prime 4, I still don't believe that game is coming out for the Switch. So they kind of need something, you know, they need something that's going to help them, get people excited to own a Switch.
Yeah, they need, and of course, they probably want to have people keep talking about Zelda and stuff. So,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I have a strong feeling. I cannot prove it. I think that Breath of the Wild is going to be the big final swan song game for the Switch from
Yeah.
Nintendo. I don't think
And
they're going to put Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch because, like I said, the Switch struggles to run huge open world games. I heard that even was that fucking game? What's the name of that damn game?
Xenoblade Chronicles
Even
3.
yeah, even Xenoblade Chronicles 3 kind of has parts that it runs kind of like ass.
Yeah.
So like like there's issues with this console running certain ways.
Yeah, and not to mention the Switch is, over 5 years old at this point, and this is
And
usually
it's
built a
using
lot
tech
for.
that was old when it came out, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
people need to stop with that shit. Oh, we're going to do a Switch Pro. Okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I mean the Switch Pro rumors. The Switch Pro rumors have been out ever even as soon as the Switch came out. As soon as the Switch came out, people started talking about Switch Pro rumors. And it's kind of like, give it a break. Nintendo isn't like Sony or Microsoft that have all these uh, all these resources to dump
Well, don't
into.
say Sony, because Sony ain't got the money either.
Yeah, Sony really doesn't have the money. I don't think there's definitely not going to be a PS5 Pro. Just I don't think that's going to happen. People are pretty upset that Sony raised the price of their PlayStation in various regions. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably not going to happen. That too was a rumor that was being being spread around. Oh, PlayStation Pro. Oh,
Yeah, they keep on saying that there's going to be a PlayStation Pro, a PlayStation. No, but I do believe there'll be a PlayStation 5 Pro because Sony needs people. Like maybe they can. They're going to call it a PlayStation 5 Pro. They're going to upsell it, but I don't think it's going to be in the traditional sense of play because they can barely get the parts to fucking make the shit they got now.
yeah. Yep.
So if they can barely get the parts to make the shit they have now, what makes you think they're gonna be freaking,
What makes you think they're gonna be able to build
a PS5 Pro?
yeah, PS5 Pro? Because it's slightly the PS5 is is one of the because one of the things Sony talked about or touted about when the when they before they launched the PS5 was one their SSD direct storage implementation, and their also their sound, the way they were handling sound. They didn't really talk too much about the graphics and stuff, and it came to find out that it's a little weaker than the Xbox Series X. I mean, honestly, to me, it doesn't really matter.
It's a moot point. It's a
Yeah,
moot point how
but
weak it is.
you know how people are.
Fanboys, oh my god! It's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
Y'all know good and hell well.
I mean they all play. They for the most part, they play the same games. I mean,
Yeah, functionally, it's the same console.
yeah. So and also, you also have Sony's exclusives. I mean, the ones that aren't on PC. But even if you don't want to mess around with PC, you still have those exclusives if you're into uh, if you if you are into Sony's first party offerings. So anyway, anything else you'd like to say about this topic before we move on to the second?
Uh, Nothing except I'm tired of people talking about it. I'm like, look, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, move the fuck on.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, the Logitech G gaming handheld was leaked. So Logitech is making a handheld. Nobody's really sure if it's a streaming device or if it's going to be like one of the many handhelds out there that can also do emulation as well. But it was leaked, and Logitech was not very happy about it, and they started ceasing and desist ceasing cease and desist orders on a lot of people's
D&Ds.
yeah a lot of people's pages. Um, so yeah, that's happening. I also bring up this topic. Uh, Say that it seems like the handheld market pertaining to these small PCs slash Android devices. There's too many of them. They're starting to flood the market. There's too many choices. Uh, you know, I honestly think it might be a bad thing. It's just because it creates confusion, especially with these companies like Ion Neo or Ion. They seem to pump out a new one every 6 months, as well as a lot of these other companies pump out a new handheld gaming PC thing every 6 months. They're more or less treating it like a laptop or the laptop market or the mobile market, which honestly, in the end, I don't think that's a great idea. But what do you think?
People bringing out new versions of the CPUs or GPUs.
No, I mean obviously there's um, bringing out new versions of these handhelds every few months with you know
Oh, you mean
better.
because Steam came out with theirs and it's been moderately successful? They're like, well, shit, we got to get in on the party.
That's part of it. It's they a lot of these handhelds came out before the Steam Deck. I mean, obviously the Switch when it came to the handhelds that could play you know, console give you a console like experience on the go. Uh, Many would probably say it started this. It probably possibly that these things could have been around a little before the Switch. I don't know. I didn't start hearing about them until the Switch came out. Then, a few months after the Switch came out, maybe a year or so, people started talking about these handheld consoles. I
That have
never,
been here the entire time,
yeah, possibly.
like the
I
Nvidia Shield.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. The Nvidia Shield, that Nvidia Shield console that came out almost 10 years ago. That was a handheld console that you could stream your PC games to. Uh, that didn't take off. It kind of just,
I mean, it found a niche,
yeah, it was a
but it
cool
wasn't gonna
idea.
be like it didn't bomb spectacular like the Alienware thing.
Yeah, it was a cool idea. They just it
It
just
wasn't
didn't.
gonna be some big thing.
Yeah,
As it like,
it
here's the
was
thing: if you have a gaming handheld, like like for PC gaming, what you essentially have is a small form factor laptop.
yeah,
That's all it is. It's a small form factor laptop.
yeah,
Okay? So if you have a gaming laptop, you already have that, except the gaming laptop can deal with the weakness of all electronics, which is, you know, the weakness of all electronics is heat dissipation.
yeah, yeah.
How are you going to deal with the heat?
Yeah, that's another problem with these consoles is heat, is the TDP. I mean, it's getting better, but again, the battery life doesn't last very long when you're
Yeah.
doing intense things. Like,
Well, it's a lot of heat because you got heat from the actual parts. Then you got heat from the battery as it exchanges voltages in order to power the damn thing. It's just a lot of heat, and you
yeah,
can't deal with it. Like it, because heat is what causes is the primary source of wear and tear on gaming devices is heat.
and the thing is, like, the one thing that the Switch does have over these systems is its battery life. Because I saw a battery test. Uh, at least on the Switch OLED, you can play Xenoblade Chronicles for 5 hours before the battery gives up. I'm like, and you can't really play unless you do some tinkering with the TDP, with the wattage. Um, you could probably get about 3 hours out of a lot of these consoles. Maybe more if you're playing like an indie game or something like that. But some games require a bit more TDP, even a bit more juice, even on lower settings. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm glad these things exist, and it's gonna be interesting to see where they go. Uh, obviously, there's going to be a few survivors pertaining to this market.
Depends on
Like
who can
Sony
afford
Bought.
to lose the most money before they can get themselves a niche. Steam can do it because they have lots of fucking money.
They have
Um,
they also have the infrastructure of the
yeah,
store to back it up too.
yeah, they have that. They have, they have the infrastructure to be able to withstand it. As far as Nvidia has money, but they don't have Valve money.
Yeah,
Um, so it's just one of those things where it's like, who can take the most amount of pain and still be functioning.
yeah,
And
exactly.
for me, just for my money, like, just, who do you think can make it? I personally think that the person who can make it the most, I think the Steam Deck is going to make it. Um, that's my personal opinion. I think that yeah, the Steam Deck can make it. I think that
Yeah, I mean, I guess honestly, you just have to create. You know, um, the company would have to be able to create some sort of greater infrastructure behind uh,
Yeah,
their
but who wants to
console.
do that though?
Yeah,
That's the issue. Who like Valve spent years building their infrastructure, years,
yeah.
like freaking years getting all their shit together.
I mean, the Steam store is what, almost 20 years old. Like, is it
Yeah,
about 20
and
years
Steam
old?
originally existed just so that it could support Counter Strike yeah, Counter Strike.
Yeah. I mean, Steam was out in 2003, 2004 to, the general public, and I didn't know about Steam until about 2008, 2009.
Yeah,
So
well, I mean, it
it's not.
started as, like I said, as a form of DRM for Counter Strike to make sure people weren't cheating and people could download the game. And then they said, well, hey, you can use our infrastructure to sell your games. And, from there, a legend was born.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it took several years. It took
And
several
Steam, when it
years.
first came out, sucked.
Oh yeah, it was a mess when it came out.
People came out, they're like, this shit stinks. But
Yeah,
over time, it got better. It got better over time.
yeah,
Um, and now Steam is great. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. But comparatively speaking, for what you're paying, Steam is great.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Um, Anything else you'd like to say before we move on to third topic?
Uh, I mean, as someone who has a Steam Deck, it's nice. It. I'm gonna keep it real. Even though in functionality the Steam Deck, in form and functionality the Steam Deck is essentially just a you know ultra small form handheld laptop. It feels like if you're playing, like I read an article. I read an article about what's it called? I read an article about Nintendo was right with the Wii U that dual screen asymmetrical gameplay is freaking amazing,
Yeah,
and it's true. Like like playing emulated 3DS games with the Steam Deck or games that have asymmetrical gameplay, like some forms of gameplay are really awesome in with dual screen gameplay. It's a shame that people just use that as a bandwagoning effect because it was easy to shit on the Wii U, because a lot of games like Splatoon 2 on the Switch is inferior to Splatoon 1 on the Wii U, all because it doesn't have dual screen gameplay.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
And we had something nice, and we couldn't have it because people were like, I don't understand it. No, you don't want to understand it because you're a fucking idiot. Uh, okay, now that I got that off my chest, let's move on.
all right, sounds good. Um, Sony bought a large stake in FromSftware, as well as Tencent. Tencent also bought
Who,
a
Sony?
stake. Yeah, Sony and Tencent bought um, a good share in FromSftware. Uh, People were making
You mean Tencent did, because Sony ain't got money like that.
Tencent probably brought a larger share. I'm not sure
I'm not
how.
saying they didn't put money into it. I'm just saying they didn't put money in it like that.
Yeah, but I saw some people making a huge deal out of it. I'm not sure why, because it's probably just gonna be business as usual. I mean, they might get some exclusive content pertaining to some of their games, but it's not like they're gonna make every game for Sony and only Sony.
Yeah.
So I don't know what do you think?
What? I think that Sony is trying to counter what Microsoft is doing, but Sony ain't got that type of money. Like, Sony is like a dude trying to hit a girl up, right?
Yeah,
It's like, I'm trying to hit this girl up, right? But the dude that's hitting her up has way more money than me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to compete against a dude who makes more money and is loaded. So really, like I need to, like I'm out of my class. Like they're like we're gonna buy Bungie. Okay, so and
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bungie is known for Destiny, Destiny 2, two games that people weren't
no
particularly
Halo,
thrilled with. Well,
Halo.
yeah, I mean, you got Halo, but I'm just talking more about the recent stuff, like um, obviously, yeah, they're mostly known for Halo, but yeah, you have Destiny and Destiny 2, which in the beginning people weren't particularly happy with, but as those games have gone along, people have become slightly more interested in them, and plus they know how to create a service based game. So that's probably the reason that they wanted
Which
to
is what
do it.
Halo was. Yeah, they,
Yeah,
they took their Halo expertise and kept it going.
yeah,
Um, and I know, like, the reason people were disappointed in Destiny was because of what, like, you play Destiny and you're like, man, there was so much possibilities here, and it just didn't come together the way it should have.
yeah. And they hyped that game up for a good 2, 3 years before we really saw anything of it. And everybody had these expectations, and they were
They hyped
presented
it
these.
up.
Yeah, they were presented these expectations, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
people got
And then,
fired, and they couldn't use their they
yeah,
couldn't use that work anymore. So they kind of had to
yeah, they
start
had
from
to
back.
they had to literally cut out a good quarter of the game, like because what Destiny was supposed to be was like was Bungie's answer to Star Wars,
Yeah,
and that's amazing. And then they fired the guy who was going to do that, and it was like what we wound up getting was some bullshit.
yeah, exactly.
Kind of sad, you know, because I wanted it to be good.
Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else?
I got nothing except Sony buying this shit isn't going to make any difference. People need to stop. So Sony is a victim of their own success because the PS5 is not going to sell like the PS4 did, and the only reason the PS4 sold like it did was because Microsoft and Nintendo fucked up. It's not because it was such an amazingly good console that it was destined to be amazing. Like the Wii sold well because Nintendo basically had a really good marketing, and like it hit the right price point. Everything was good, right?
Yeah, yeah. Their marketing was on point. Of course, the price is pretty good. The PS4 wasn't really doing anything special. Like the fact that you could stream your games to Twitch. I mean, it didn't
Big
replace
deal.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but it didn't replace capture cards. I remember people when they were talking about, oh, capture cards are dead now. Capture cards are no.
Oh, because I mean, it's not like you could stream that much content. It was like what 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes at most.
I was by some of the footage I've seen, it comes off kind of choppy too. So
Yeah,
a capture
I mean,
card
who the
and a
no,
laptop
I'm
would
just
have been.
saying, who the fuck? Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Sorry. With a laptop and a capture card, you have a dedicated hardware to uh, encode or decode the encode when it goes out and then decode when it comes in. Well, essentially, when you have the hardware necessary to do all the grunt work, and you're
Yeah,
not
and plus,
sacrificing
your only
resources for the
limitation
game.
is your hard drive space or whatever storage medium you're using for your recording. That's it. It's your only limitation.
Yeah.
Whereas with, Sony and Microsoft's bullshit, it's like, well, actually, since your machine is doing the heavy lifting, our processing power is the one that's actually doing all this. Like, you get like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and it's not great quality.
I remember right. I think you can stream for a relatively long time. It's just, again, it's not the greatest of quality, and most people
Yeah.
just use capture cards anyway, because it's just you have a lot more control over what you can do with a capture card.
I didn't know that. That's good to know. But still, I don't really care. I don't care. No, I get what you're saying. I, I think that people were just being just bitches, in my personal opinion. Uh, just looking for shit to complain about. Because people always look for shit to complain about. Because people are lazy and um, easily offended.
Yeah, yeah,
You know. But yeah, Sony, like, they earned the right to do what they wanted to do. Like, whether you like the Wii or not, they had the right price point. They weren't, everything was what they wanted to do, you know?
yeah,
And I can't say the same thing with other companies. Like, the only reason the PS4 sold what it did was because Don Matrick fucked up.
yeah.
And Nintendo fucked up. It's not like, oh, this is so amazing. It's just, no, you fucked up. That's nothing wrong with it. People fuck up all the time, but
Yeah, exactly. In any case, we're going to let's see, fourth topic. Nintendo has no plans of raising the Nintendo Switch price. Which again, I'd like to reiterate what I said a couple weeks ago. Uh, Microsoft can take the hit because they're Microsoft and they have more money than God. Uh, Nintendo can take the hit because they're going to make a lot of that money back in software, plus some. Because again, I mean, you, you look at on the eShop, look at the top games on the eShop, and it's mostly Nintendo games on the top 10. Um, Sony, on the other hand, yeah,
yeah, they can't. Yeah, they can't take that hit.
they don't have the same magic that they used to, and it's not only just that. It's like people are still having a hard time getting a hold of PS5. That's a big kick in the teeth when you're already having a hard time getting a PS5 at MSRP, and then you just decide, we're gonna raise the prices because
But only in places where we aren't doing, like, that aren't our primary market right now. So they're
yeah,
fucking over the people that they could be growing their market for.
yeah,
Uh, Willing to take a hit in the market where they're breaking even or making a small profit. I mean, business wise, I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but it's still like, bruh, like,
yeah, yeah.
but you know what this means, right?
What?
People who can afford it are just gonna order shit from America, pay the shipping and handling because it'll probably be cheaper than taxes they'll pay over there where they are, and just do that, which is gonna make supply here fucking terrible. Like, Sony shot themselves in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, if I was an economist or something like that, and I lived in one of those countries, I probably would have put a lot of my money in the dollar before inflation.
Yeah,
And
well,
and
actually,
it's just
even
not,
with inflation, we still have one of the strongest currencies right now.
yeah,
Actually, kind of unusual that we have such strong currency.
yeah, especially with even stronger than the pound, which hasn't happened for at
Yeah,
least 20 years.
yeah, it's like, god damn. So really, I mean, having the dollar is actually not that bad right now. It's really not that bad.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Like, people fucked up. What to say?
And this topic goes along with the well, it goes a little bit with the next topic. Uh, PlayStation Premium has issues. So apparently, the PlayStation Premium, which you can get a lot of the classic games, apparently they have some weird releases. Like one of them was a Toy Story game for the PSP. So uh, apparently they're not giving out a lot of their classic games. I mean, they had Siphon Filter, and I forgot the other game, but yeah. So you might get like one good classic game and some random games because I don't know if Sony just doesn't want to pay the licensing for uh, for a lot of the bigger games people really want. Like,
They don't want to put that money out. That's what that shit's about.
Yeah.
They don't want to put that money out because they're bastards.
So they didn't want. So here's another weird one. It was the Sly Cooper collection for the PS3. So you don't even get a native PS2 version upscaled of that game. You can play on your console. You have to stream it because they don't want to create an emulator for the PS4 so that you can play PS3 games natively. So
The PS3 generation, where they were like, "This is the HD version of Ratchet and Clank," and all it was like a 720p. They didn't remake the game. They just up-resed it to 720p, so it still looked like shit because it wasn't remade from the ground up to take advantage of HD.
yeah. So
And they had the nerve to charge people what $50 for that. I was like, man, fuck you.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. They just couldn't get people a PS2 version of that game.
I mean, I would rather them just give the PS2 version and you just emulate the PS2 version. But this is listen, Sony. I'm gonna include Nintendo with this. Nintendo. These are not the companies you grew up with. Okay, they ain't like they used to be. All right.
Yeah. All those people that made the games you loved when you were a kid, they either left really old and retired, or they died. So I don't know what to tell you guys.
All right. With Nintendo, they're just fucking greedy. All right. And the new guy is trying to make a lot of money so that he can do whatever the fuck he wants, and people won't ask him any questions. Which I gotta understand it. You want to make your bones and be, do X, Y, or Z. But don't expect them to be doing all this shit. Okay. These are not the companies you grew up with. Shit changed.
Yeah.
Get over it. Be like, they're my friend. These companies are not your friend. All right? They are there to make money. Yeah. And that is it. They don't care about you, your parents, childhood. They don't care.
Yeah.
Right? They want to make money. That's why for-profit businesses exist. They have to make money.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And they're not.
I know that's a hard concept for some people to understand. But yeah, these companies exist to make money.
They're not here to. They're not here to pat you on the back and tell you it's gonna be all right.
Yeah. Here's the thing: if they can repackage your childhood and sell it to you for the least amount of money possible, they'll do that. You'll get a mediocre fucking product. Sony has done that numerous times. Nintendo's done it like twice. All right.
Oh yeah, don't even talk about the 3D Mario collection.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, 4 goddamn games, and they missed the best one, which is Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Yep.
Like, how the fuck are you gonna have? These are the best. This is the 3D Mario collection. We only got 4 damn games. So let me get this straight. You got Super Mario 64, but you don't have Super Mario 64 DS, which arguably is a better game than the original Super Mario 64.
I
You
like
should
how
have at least given people both versions of that game.
I
Okay?
like how, I like how what somebody put it when we were talking about the Mario collection. They're like, yeah, here's some of the greatest Mario games ever. You have Super Mario 64, you have Mario Galaxy, uh, and it also includes Mario Sunshine. But you at least have a
Yeah, and
couple
also,
of
yeah, Mario Sunshine, which I fucking hate. All right, and that's a personal thing. I don't like Mario Sunshine. I realize that some people really like that game, and I'm not going to cast aspersions on people who like that game. But for me, Mario Sunshine is terrible.
Yeah, that game didn't age very well. I've tried playing it, and it's a hard game to get back into. Like
I
it just
mean,
feels weird. The camera's not exactly the
yeah,
greatest. The controls don't feel
yeah. Your greatest
right.
enemy is the camera. Your greatest enemy, your greatest enemy in that game is the camera. It's not Bowser Jr., that little motherfucker. It's not the Goombas and the corrupted paint monsters. It's the fucking camera. Just like Mario Odyssey. Really, the toughest part of that game is the camera.
Yeah.
The camera is the hardest part of that game. So they released what it was it 4 games or 3 games in the
It
Mario
was
3D
it was
collection.
it was three. It was Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy.
No Galaxy 2.
No Galaxy 2. You get that.
Fuck. I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna have a 3D collection and not have Galaxy 2? That is just asinine. But that's Nintendo for you. I guess they were thinking we give you 3 games and that's good enough.
Yeah. And yeah, Super Mario Sunshine is not to me. It's not a bad game per se. It's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. It's not completely unplayable. It's not terrible. It's just disappointing. That's it. Anyway, um,
I mean, look, you get Mario 64 for $20. You get Galaxy for $20. You get Sunshine for $20. I hate Mario Sunshine. Like I hate that game so damn much.
yeah. So with all the premium services out there, you got PlayStation, you got Microsoft, you even got Nintendo's uh, BS premium system, premium service. Uh, what would a Steam premium service look like in your mind?
Um, like you pay $50 a month and you get like maybe like 3 or 4 free games.
Yeah,
And I know people will say, "Well, $50." Yeah, but like $50 a month and you get 3 or 4 free games, and some of them are freaking some of them are AAA and good versus just some bullshit.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like maybe like nothing that came out that year, but you can pick and choose what you want. I'd pay that. Because
Yeah.
you're still, I mean, they're still getting a lot of money. Plus, you get access to all that infrastructure that they've made over the years.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see like maybe like $120 a year for like an all access rental service with a select few curated games that come out that are in rotation every few months. Also as well as some discounts on certain games, like special discounts, and maybe reward points for buying games that you could use towards other stuff in the store or something like that. Maybe
I mean,
have
I'll keep
a
it 100%. I'd be cool with that, but the thing is, the thing about Valve is that you already kind of get a premium. Like, if you buy a Valve game, like I think once every 6 months, you get access to all their shit.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you get like, really, I'm just gonna keep it 100%. 100%. Really, Steam shits on every other service, live service, infrastructural based service that exists in gaming. Shits on Nintendo, shits on Sony, shits on Microsoft. Because Steam, you can do all the shit that they charge you for, you can do for Steam just by buying one game a year. Like one or two games a year.
Yeah.
Like, I can create my own servers. I can play online multiplayer games. I can, I can fucking, what's the other one? I have friends lists. There are achievements, and I don't like. No one's saying, "Well, we have to pay for infrastructure." No, motherfucker. You just want more money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. You do get a lot of benefits and a lot of stuff when it comes to Steam. They have weekly deals, weekend deal. They have a deal every weekend.
There's
Um,
always something on sale, and the games like no matter what, like it's not like Sony sales or Nintendo sales where half the time we're having a sale, but it's shit that I either already own or don't care about. There's always something on Steam that you would be willing to get.
yeah, typically. Uh, and, every other week they also have a publisher sale too. So, certain publishers will have just uh, you know, big sales on various games. So I was just curious with all the with the Steam Deck and with the with obviously the Vive, their headset, and them creating both a software based infrastructure, hardware based infrastructure. I wonder if they're going to you know I was just curious if you think they could or possibly do something like that in the future.
Good, but like the thing is, if Valve made a premium gaming service, like added a premium option to Steam, it would shit on everyone else's shit so bad that I would be like, what more could they offer than what they already offer right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and they aren't charging you for it. You know,
Yeah,
like everyone's like, I double dipped on this game. I don't double dip on games anymore, especially not shit that's on the Switch. I'm like, why the fuck would I play a shittier version of a game I can play on PC and have all the amenities and not have to pay what $25, $50 a year for that shit?
yeah,
For real?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I know some people are like, but look, I'm a Nintendo fan, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna spend money recklessly, just because I'm a fan of something. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And Mama didn't raise no food.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Um, maybe it'd be cool to see, you, if you subscribe to this premium service, also get like a free game every week or something crazy like that, like with what Epic's doing, to try to get people to show up to their store.
Yeah, and I only show up there to get my free game, and then I leave. I'm like, this game kind of sucks, so I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we're at the free topic section. Is there any free topics that you have?
Only thing I gotta say is this: I'm tired of people. I've been playing Saints Row, the reboot. I've been having fun with it. People keep on acting like it's the worst shit ever. I'm like, for real? You gonna?
Yeah,
Like,
I've been seeing stuff on my feed about that. I'm just kind of like,
it's not. It's really not that bad. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's a little janky. Uh, it doesn't play as smoothly as past games, but those games were Unreal 4, Unreal 3, and Unreal 4, and the developers were really familiar with that. Whereas now they're basically like freaking trying to play that shit. Like it's a new engine. I think it's Unreal 5 now.
yeah,
And even though like people think, oh well, it's a new engine, it's better. No, not really. Sometimes like I can tell how like going into certain areas, it's not as good as it used to be back in the day. Like how you get into a car, not quite as smooth as it was back in the day.
yeah. Yeah, I have a free topic. I had one and I forgot it.
Go ahead.
I saw I came across a video talking about how Sony's been taking a lot of L's this generation. The fact that they haven't been able to, you can't be able to find a console and how they've handled some of their games, like Gran Turismo 7. I know that was a big deal. The censorship of, a lot of their other games being weird about that. Um, and also the price hikes and I wonder if it's because the PS4 sold so well. I wonder. Again, we see this a lot with consoles where they they tend to when the manufacturer does really well one generation they tend to they tend to rest on their laurels and then they screw themselves the next generation. We saw that
So they
with
pulled a Nintendo from
yeah
the Wii to the Wii U,
yeah
and Sony from the PS3 to the
so after the PS2.
PS3, the PS2 to the PS3.
Yeah, yeah. I remember the PS3 when God Sarai was like, yeah, not you'll people will get two jobs so they can afford the PS3, and it's just like,
It's
what?
like,
Why
no,
would you say that?
no, they didn't. People were like, fuck this shit. Just like now, people tried to get a PS5, and some people have PS5s. Other people are like, I'll wait. It's not like because there's so much play. There's so many like, and this is where the lack of exclusives are an issue. Because if there was must-have, you can only get this here games, but there aren't. Everything is like a multi-plat now.
Yeah,
And when I say a multi-plat, I mean it's either on console or PC. Like it's not even pick your console. It's like, oh, I can get this on the PC. Why the fuck would I? People trying to get like I don't know why people brag about spending more on shit when they could have gotten. I one of those people. I brag about spending less money.
yeah,
I
yeah.
always
Exactly.
brag about spending less money. Oh man, yeah. You know how much I spent on this? A low amount of money.
And it also had um, 2 years of when it came to the PS3, you had 2 years of nothing coming out, and then when stuff started to come out, we ended up going into a recession. So then they started to have to cut prices, take out features of the PS3. It was pretty bad for a few years. So the funny thing about that is they ended up outselling the Xbox 360, but at that point, nobody
It didn't
cared.
matter because they were making less money per console. Plus, the Xbox 360 fucked up because of the Red Ring of Death fiasco.
Yeah,
So they lost billions of dollars replacing 360s. So the winner of the seventh gen was the Wii, because Nintendo was not spending a lot of money on that fucking console.
no, I mean, what's his name? Uh, Unreal, the creator of Unreal, the creator of Gears of War. Uh, so yeah, the Wii's two GameCubes duct taped together. I mean, that's pretty much what it was, and it made a killing because they focused on something else rather than HD graphics, sub HD graphics actually, because it wasn't even the HD games weren't even native on the PS3 or 360.
No.
But but yeah, they got really cocky during the PS4 era. I mean, you should have known that something was wrong when Shuhei Yoshida was like, we don't know why the PS4 is doing so well. We have no idea. It's like, oh
Oh,
no, this isn't
the
good.
reason the PS4 did well is because Microsoft fucked up and there was no competition.
Yeah,
And when there's no competition, like, that's what happens. That's why I told people, I was like, look, this is not good that you don't have competition because it means Sony and Microsoft are doing whatever the fuck they want, and like Sony is having a run. Kind of like, look, it's the reason why Nintendo fucked up with the Wii U because they didn't have any competition with the Wii. They were making money hand over fist between the Wii and the DS.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah. It was yeah. There was absolutely no competition for the PS4. They had third parties at their at their beck and call, so they just didn't really have to put anything out. Was there any noteworthy PS? Oh, of course. I mean, there was Spider Man. There was um, there's The Last of Us Part Two, which didn't come out until like the last year of the PS4. There was one of the games were there that were noteworthy on the PS4 that people generally liked. There were I forgot.
Most of the games I like for the PS4 also came up for the PS3 or the PS2.
Oh, yeah,
There's nothing that I'm like, oh my god, I have to have this. Like, I don't give a fuck about Last of Us or Uncharted.
yeah.
I think Insomniac did their best work on Jack and Daxter.
You mean
Not
Naughty Dog?
Insomniac, Naughty
No,
Dog. I
yeah,
think they
Naughty
did their
Dog.
best work on Jack and Daxter. I think that Uncharted is fine, but Uncharted is like a bootleg. To me, Uncharted is a bootleg Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
Except Nathan Drake isn't nearly as brainy as old school Lara Croft, who was fine as fuck, but she also was fucking smart.
yeah,
Like, Nathan Drake is a wannabe smartass.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, there were a lot of noteworthy games on the PS4. So it's not like they did. It's not like they didn't do anything that generation. I mean, there are games that had got critically acclaimed. People generally liked. So, um, but I think they just got a little too relaxed. The PS5. They obviously didn't want to put more money to, probably because either they didn't want to or they didn't have the money to buy more priority for the PS5, and um, they just thought, well, it has the PlayStation name, we can raise the price, people are still going to buy it, and hey, that could still be a possibility. People could still buy it, or people could just be this up, or I mean, it's a different world now. You have, uh, of course, the inflation, the recession. People are not.
I don't even think it's the recession at this point because the PS5 wasn't doing well before the recession hit, the inflation, whatever it is. Here's what I think happened. Okay, Sony got cocky, Sony got arrogant, and they were like, we don't care, we got this. Because they didn't learn their lesson from the PS2 to the PS3. Because here's what I've learned about organizations. This is political, nonprofit, doesn't matter. No one ever learns the lesson of the past. They always think this time it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Okay? Fact of the matter is that Sony ran roughshod over everybody last gen. And instead of taking that money and saying, we're going to make sure we line our ducks in a row and have something going on for our next console, they said, we're just going to roll out with the PS5 and everything's going to be okay because we're Sony, baby. It's like, why should I buy a PS5? Are there any games on the PS5 that I absolutely have to have? No.
Yeah.
Right? Because I guarantee you, every big game that's coming out to the PS5 is probably also going to hit PC. Might not land on the Xbox, but it's going to hit PC.
Yeah.
So why the fuck should I get a PS5?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you are someone right now, even if we weren't in a recession, and like Sony's having supply issues, but there's no must-have games on Sony's console, then what reason do I have to fucking own a PS5?
Yeah, exactly. And again, when Elden Ring came out, a lot of people really wanted to play it. It was also on Xbox. They couldn't find a PS5, and they were like,
It's on PC and Xbox. They got it on PC and Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. Play it there instead. That Elden Ring, and the fact that you couldn't get a PS5 really helped the Xbox for those couple of months. And of course, the Switch just hardware wise keeps outselling both of them.
You want to know why? Because the Switch had a head start, and the Switch is like literally has a huge library of games, and it's cheap. It's portable.
Yep.
Because I guarantee most people who are playing the Switch are playing it for its portability. I can play. I can just pull my Switch out, play it for 10 or 15 minutes, etc., etc., etc. Now, for me, that's not a selling point because I don't necessarily like. I don't like playing games that are struggling to do basic shit that last gen hardware from the same company wasn't having issues with.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people who own Switches didn't give a fuck about the Wii U, so they don't see that flip of quality.
Yeah.
I do, so I'm like, yeah, no. Why is this? Why am I fast traveling to a location and it's struggling to load the area? Why is a first party game crashing while I'm playing it?
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and all of its Unreal Engine.
No, that was Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild crashed on me 3 times.
Oh.
Nintendo first party game crashed.
Right back to the home screen. Yeah.
No, just crashed. I had to reset the system.
Oh, it crashed that bad? It didn't take you back to the home screen?
No!
Wow.
No! So when people tell me, oh man, why are you mad about Nintendo? Because I've never seen this level of lack of quality from a Nintendo home console, from a Nintendo system. Typically, Nintendo means, third parties, fuck them. Third parties don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's oh wow. I mean, I told me it crashed, but I didn't know it was
What'd you
that
think
bad.
when I said the shit crashed? You thought I was like, oh no, man, it just.
No, I thought it crashed and take you back to the home screen.
No! The shit crashed! Like I had to reset the system crashed.
Oh wow. Because anytime I get a crash, it's usually like, oh, we ran into an error. I had to
No!
simply go back to the home screen and reset the game.
No, like it
Oh
would
wow.
crash. It would crash and then the shit would die.
Oh shit. Damn. Wow, that's yeah, that's bad.
The fucking um I had to fucking reset the system. Like power it, and not like a reset, like power it down and then start it again.
Oh man.
So when people tell me, "Oh no, man, Nintendo's slipping," oh yeah, Nintendo's slipping.
Yeah.
Fucking, don't say nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah.
It needs to be said.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. That's pretty crazy. Anyway,
Is the
yeah, and then you got
this shit wouldn't
uh,
have happened under a water. That's all I'm gonna say. This new guy fucking up already.
um, yeah, like I said, I've had games crash on me that bad, or crash on me, but nothing to that level. Yeah, that's. I mean, a crash is still bad no matter what. The fact that you have to deal with a crash and then reset the game is still annoying, but the fact that it just crashed your whole entire system, where you have to turn off the system and restart it. Now that's on a different level. But anything else you'd like to bring up before we wrap things up?
Um, no, that's it.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that because people always like. I've had people say, "Well, what do you mean?" It's like, no. It's a shame I didn't elaborate. When I say a crash, I don't mean a game had an error and then went back to the home screen. When I say this Breath of the Wild crashed 3 times, I mean like the game would start to stall and then it would make that weird screen on the Switch that lets you know, oh shit, there's been a catastrophic error and I had to reset the whole thing, like turn it off, turn it back on again.
Oh wow.
3 times. Now, this was after I had been playing Breath of the Wild for a long time, and I guess it was a memory issue. But I've like anyone who's played games for a long time, gaming as long as I have, knows that once you get into the zone of a game, you don't think about how long you've been playing. You're like, I'm only gonna play for like 30 minutes, and then you look up and it's been like you started playing at 6 o'clock. It's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's happened to me. That's for sure.
Okay. You playing a game a long time, you should not be expecting a first party Nintendo game to crash like that. Unless someone fucked up. And I'm going with someone fucked up.
Yeah, I think sometimes I think there are certain games that just you can't. They don't. It shouldn't be this way. Like you can't keep them in stasis for too long, or else they start acting weird. I've had Xenoblade Chronicles 3 do some weird things if it's in stasis for too long or if it's in suspended mode for too long. So yeah, I don't know. Switch is kind of weird. I um like you, I've had some games crash on me randomly too. Uh, again, just go to the home screen and reset the game. But I guess that just isn't the case for some people. But anyway, let's just give our sign outs and call it a night. Like to give your sign off?
Yeah. My sign off is this. This is Mr. Red Fox. I'm a proud to BS Busters. I'm glad to be on another one of these casts, and I hope to be on more.
And this is Kenoshi Abominito here with Project Console episode 44. Hype is a dangerous disease, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good week. Later.